Hello and welcome to another predecessor match. Now, I mentioned in the previous one that I had 3 games that were not from the stress test, and it's rather unfortunate, but when I tried to record one of those games, the file was corrupted and I don't have access to them anymore. Twitch also deletes VODs, unfortunately. So this is the last game that I have from the stress test, and it is support Muriel. And it's going to be a quirky game, but I am showcasing some pretty cool items in this. One of them is one of the coolest support items I've ever seen, especially in a MOBA like this that's third person, and I can't wait to show you guys that. But this game does kind of start off funky, as you'll see in just a moment. Here we start off with the consort crest and a health pot and mana pot. I quite like the items that evolve from the consort crest. You know, it gives good stats, magic power, mana regen, typical, you know, something that you would like for a support. But it does also grant a charge every 30 seconds, up to 3 charges, and the next basic attack or damaging ability against a hero, minion, or structure will deal 10 additional magic damage and grant you 30 gold. But one condition of this passive is that you have to have an allied hero within 3,000 units. And then once you get 300 gold from this effect, it evolves. Another passive of the consort crest is you receive diminishing gold from excessive minion kills. I don't know what the exact number to that is. I think it's something like 10 minion kills per 5 minutes, something like that. I don't know what it is, but otherwise you would, if they didn't add that second passive, consort crest could be like a really interesting option for other roles, but since that second passive is in there, you really only want to use it in the support role. So as you can see, the enemy duo lane is nowhere to be found, and the jungler makes an appearance. And the enemy jungler for this game is none other than Cyborg, played by Plato, who's a very good jungler. Now at this point I was really confused. Why isn't there an enemy duo lane? I believe that this was our first game in all of this stress test, so it was like a learning experience for everyone. Like, this is, for many of us, myself included, this was our first venture into predecessor. And now we have one half of the solo lane here making an appearance. But, you know, 2 level 3s against a level 1, it's really unfortunate. The jungler realizes the situation and tries to help, but my carry ends up gunning him down. And this is going to be the general pace of this duo lane. We got silence there, which is why the screen turned gray, which is a very, very nice effect. But the game gets really interesting, especially once the team fights start unfolding. But this particular duo lane is pretty one-sided through no fault of the enemy carries. Through no fault of the enemy carry. I think the support might be in like roaming, or I think the enemy support was pretty good, like, you know, just getting his or her bearings in the game. One part that I really like about the consort crest is that it incentivizes the supports being aggressive. So you really want to manage the consort crest stacks and never miss out on the gold, because obviously you want as much gold as possible. So this is me just witnessing Fangtooth. I was curious. I just wanted to go see. And, you know, supports are generally decently strong against carries in the very, very early game. Like, they can definitely hold their own somewhat. Which is the opposite case later on. But I thought that, you know what, I'll stay in the lane. I'll farm a little bit and just be aggressive overall. So we have 3 consort crest stacks, and then now we go in on the carry. And with the minion wave wailing on us, we actually almost lose that. It wasn't a fair fight to begin with, but again, I feel bad that the enemy carry didn't have a support. I think we could see the support in the other lane. So we pick up our Essence Ring, which is a pretty standard support item. You got your mana regen and your ability haste. For those of you who may not know, ability haste is also cooldown reduction. And it's typically everything that you want in a support item. So, I thought with that previous engagement, I was burning consort stacks, but I forgot about the stipulation of the second passive. So I think if it was a normal dual lane, it would be... I might even have my crest leveled up to level 2 already. But unfortunately it was weird. And then here I was just admiring the environment and the detail. It's the map is very pretty. It's a very pretty map. So the poor enemy carry is just trying to manage on his own. I just go to explore. Kind of wanted to see the environment as this was my first game. I put a little cheeky ward there. I'm not sure how effective it is, but we'll see. See what happens. That's one thing that I'm really curious about. Once people start really warding the map, they're going to put it in obscure places that you wouldn't typically think. Because you'll always have the very common ward areas where you pretty much always have to check to de-ward, you know, as a support or jungler. But it's those... like those areas right outside the commonly placed ward areas that are the best ones because they almost never get discovered.
Allied tower under attack. Enemy tower under attack. Allied tower destroyed.
Nice. Oh wow. Consort stacks, I think, also stack off of jungle minions. Well, that's... I didn't know that. But yeah, we actually got a 30 gold from expending a consort stack there on the jungle minion by killing it. Pretty awesome.
Killing spree.
Now we have our ultimate, so our eyes are peeled for any low HP allies. And, you know, in my lane, the carry is in no threat, so I have no problem just going. The ult is exactly as fun as it looks. We tried to save the Fang Mao, but couldn't, and we had to use our blink to save ourselves. 3 versus 1, and as a support, it's not a situation you want to be in. And I see that our Kalari may be in danger, so I just wanted to ensure that he's okay. Since he's fine, I'm back to base, and then on my way to the carry. Looks like the ward actually did help there. I don't know if you guys caught that, but while I was looking at the Kalari, the Fang Mao rotated left towards the carry, and I think he saw from the minimap, so definitely a good ward spot. And it caught the Fang Mao rotating right before the ward went out, so that was really incredible. Wards win games, simply put. We're rotating back to our lane. Our consort crest has evolved to a keeper crest, which the most interesting stat there is the gold per second. It's pretty, it actually has 0.5 gold per second, which is pretty cool. And then it still has the same exact passive of like dealing damage and getting gold. So you again, you want to reach 300 gold and then you can get the legendary item. So yeah, it also gives a little bit more magical power and mana regen. So we have the Keeper Crest, and we also decided to go for the Scepter for magical power. I don't really have a well thought out build here. I'm just kind of playing it by ear, and I thought that, you know, the added magical power is worth more now than it will be later. So if I'm landing abilities on the enemy team, it's gonna pay off if I just get it sooner rather than later, since mana, I don't really have an issue with mana. I'm not sure how well that actually works in practice. In theory, it sounds okay, but, and you know, once the game's live and we have a replay feature, we can objectively try and measure these things. Here, we have a team fight. I am looking to ult in, but I see the Howie escaped. Oh, actually, I wanted to ult in, but it's still off cooldown, and our Fang Mao died. But now my ult is off cooldown. We're ready to jump back in. Should the need arise, and it does. So we come here, shield the Kalari. I figure, you know what, I'm a support, but I might as well go down doing as much damage as possible. Unfortunately, the Kalari and I, we didn't focus together. We could have, the Kalari didn't get the Howie, and we could have easily gotten the Sev. Or I think if I focused on the Howie, we could have easily gotten the Howie, and the Sev would maybe hit us with one subjugate instead of getting the kill, because he was also extremely low. Unfortunate, but this, again, it's expected. So we now combine the Essence Ring and Scepter for Marshall, which is the passive, if you're wondering. Yourself and nearby allied heroes gain 10 attack speed and deal 20 magic damage on hit. It seems like a pretty awesome support item. I just figured, you know what? It seems to work well for the carry. I mean, every auto attack, he gains an extra 20 magic damage. Like, you know, your carry does more damage, gets more kills, you get a better chance of taking over. So the carry is getting the gold while I'm working on the tower. I figured we should. Oh no, the gold hasn't respawned yet. So he backed. Okay, so we end up taking the tower. The cooldown for Muriel's ultimate is quite long. Oh, we're getting ganked. Good thing we left, but we were just so far ahead that they couldn't catch up. So our carry rotates back. And I'm not sure if the carry there got the gold buff. I tried to deny it. And yeah, our carry is really farmed at this point, so it's rather unfortunate for them. But we are 2 more keeper stacks away from evolving our item, and we evolve it into what I just couldn't resist grabbing. It's one of the coolest items I've ever seen in a third-person MOBA. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird looking, though. Well, like, when you see the effect of it, it's kind of a little bit strange. All right. So yeah, it's true. Keeper Consort Crest and Keeper Crest damage stack off of jungle minions. So we get knocked up there, but we can't leave our carry behind. We gotta sacrifice ourselves for the greater good. Good shield there, but I still think I get downed here. They chase me, but I think that the carry ends up surviving. Nope, I was wrong. We both die. That was a 3-for-0 trade for us, which is not good. But I believe we got the Fangtooth, so there's at least that. Fangtooth is worth it in my opinion. 3 kills. It sucks to give up 3 kills, but if you secure the Fangtooth, that's a huge step towards victory. So here we have the choice between Malediction, Celentium, and Thread of Mortality. And Thread of Mortality just sounded so incredibly cool. I just couldn't resist. So Thread of Mortality, the active designates an allied hero as a companion. If your companion is nearby and takes damage greater than 8% of their max health, they gain a 150 plus 25% ability power plus 10% bonus health shield. And you both deal 10% increased damage for 5 seconds. So the first part of this active, basically, if they take like a big, over 8% of their health and damage in one instance of damage, which is highly likely as a carry, they get a shield. And they also increase 10%, they get a buff for 5 seconds where they do 10% increased damage. And then if either I or the companion dies, the other receives a 10% movement speed boost for 5 seconds. I just was so intrigued by this item. I couldn't resist. And then, as you can see, that red line between us is the indicator of which character is my companion. And it's honestly, I think, you know, it might not be the strongest of all the support items, but it's really cool. It's really, really cool. The only difference I would make is maybe where it connects to Muriel. It's a little bit higher, like her stomach, not her nether regions. But that's just like a personal preference. Yeah, it looks weird. But we also picked up Divine Wreath, which is a staple item for Muriel, that's that green ring looking item in the bottom right. That increases your heals and shields by 10%. It's also a staple item for Narbash. It's you know, it makes your heals and shields that much better. The other 2 crest items that we could have evolved into, Malediction. It has an active of target nearby enemy heroes, slowing and reducing their attack speed by 40% for 3 seconds. It's kind of like Exhaust from League of Legends in an item form. So here we're just trying to shield as effectively as possible. I popped the ult. I don't think it was necessary as we were all there. But I just, you know, I felt like, you know what, I can. By the next fight, I felt confident the ult would be back up. Here, we get ganked. I missed the shield there, like a noob. And the Howie kills me, giving the Murdoch a little bit of a damage and speed buff. The third and final item that we could have evolved into was Celentium, which silences a target within 900 units for 2 seconds. If this interrupts an ability, deal 150 damage, plus a bunch of modifiers in magic damage. So Celentium, obviously really, really cool. Maybe, I don't know if you get a Celentium for a enemy howitzer, which I could have done this game. If he ults and you activate the Celentium, does it just knock him out of the air and back to the ground? That'd be pretty crazy. Pretty cool though. Pretty cool. We pick up another scepter for a little bit more magic damage. The next item that we're working towards is called Book of Dreams. And the Book of Dreams gives magic power and mana regen, while the next heal or shield will additionally heal the target for 15% plus modifiers of their maximum health over 5 seconds. And dealing damage to an enemy hero reduces the cooldown by 5 seconds per basic attack or ability. Pretty cool, pretty cool. The cooldown itself is 40 seconds. So we'll see that shortly, but right now it's oh, I was mistaken. We actually did not secure the Fang Tooth previously. I thought we did, but no. So that was, we ended up losing 3 and Fang Tooth, which is like, they were behind and they brought themselves back in it from that move. It's huge. Fangtooth just respawned, and the teams are going for position here. The enemy Drongo a bit out of position there. With their carry down, we're pretty confident in taking it. I shield. I don't think that I should have used that shield, but I don't think it's worth it in the off chance that the team is collapsing on us. You know, you always like want to just. I want it to be as effective as possible, but it could really bite us in the butt if right after I use that shield they came in, because that's like between 4 heroes, that amount of shield, it's close to 1,000 maybe. I don't know if I have that much ability power, but it's a lot.
Enemy tower under attack.
So we have our Book of Dreams. We have our Book of Dreams here. I backed for a ward because I forgot it. Before we also picked up a chromatic wand, which gives us magical power and ability haste. And our team collapsed on the enemy Bellica in the right lane. They're doing really well here. They're about to kill the jungler too. Nope, maybe not. The jungler escaped. No, Sevarog went down. So, feel the need to ult here just to ensure, you know, with other characters that are typically bruisers like Feng Mao, I'll be a little bit more reluctant to ult in there, but with the carry, you know, there's just no point in taking that risk. And we have him set as our companion. You know, like, you could give yourself a nice little move speed buff. Say if for some reason the carry is already down. The cooldown for the Thread of Mortality is only 20 seconds. So you can manipulate it in such a way to give yourself a move speed boost that could save you. Right, like say there's like you have your jungler, you guys are companions, and the solo laner is about to die, and there's no chance of saving them. You could just designate the solo laner as your companion right before he dies, get that move speed buff, and then get out. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Right now, we're working towards our Time Warp, which is a really good item. Gives us magical power, physical armor, and ability haste. But the passive is pretty. It has 2 passives, but it's pretty interesting. When you cast an ability, reduce all other basic ability cooldowns by 20%. Really cool, really cool. Obviously, if you're like as a Muriel, you want to be stacking ability haste and getting this. And its second passive is Ferromancer. Casting an ability grants 5 magical power and physical armor for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times.
An allied inhibitor's under siege.
Yeah, they made a nice push here in this right lane, which is rather troublesome. I let my carry
Enemy tower
stay in the left lane. I'm not worried since I'm Muriel. I can just traverse the map if he ever needs me. I figure right now this is where the action is. This is where we need it. And the carry right now is under attack, and I'm like, okay, now is my time. So I come in there, designate him as my companion. I'm getting walloped here, trying to survive as best as I can. And the Muriel, I'm sorry, not the Muriel, the Howitzer takes me down, but I strive to save the Murdoch, but it just simply wasn't enough. Yeah, the enemy Howitzer, otherwise known as Cyborg Angel, is pretty good. He's got some experience on Howitzer too.
An ally has been slain.
An ally has been slain. So here, this wave is pushing on the inhib. I figure I try to tank as much damage as possible just because. Healthy inhibitors means a happy team. And I haven't quite learned how to manage the waves yet in this game. It's going to take some time, naturally. You know, how many minions do you have to kill or have in comparison to the enemy minion wave at which point in the lane, because that can make a difference too. But you know, that kind of information will eventually be illuminated in time. The enemy team is going in on Fangtooth, which is very smart. I'm going to ult in. Unfortunately, they secure the Fangtooth, and then we get to shielding, and well, not really, because we missed a lot of shields there. So, sorry team. But yeah, you know, in this match, they were behind, and now they are ahead. I gotta say, the Murdoch is pretty courageous. I would assume that they're rotating over to him, but I guess since maybe they did so well on that fight, they might be trying to get Or Prime. Because, you know, Murdoch is basically an easy pick at this point. But yeah, where did the whole enemy team go to? I can only assume it's Or Prime, right? They had 4 up. Huh. Strange.
Enemy inhibitor is under siege.
And it's still Mini Prime, too. It's not even... They could have easily went for Mini Prime and gotten it. But I don't know what happened there.
The enemy has activated the old prime.
Oh, looks like I was right. Yep. So they all went to kill Mini Prime. It should be Mini Prime. That's what the tooltip said on the right. Is it though? We'll see in just a moment. If all of them have Or Prime, then it was normal Or Prime. But it did label it as Mini Or Prime. So what happened there was they all rotated to Or Prime to take it, and only one of them rotated back to defend inhibitor. Which was a good move. You know, in my eyes, it's either gank the carry or take OP. And they opted for OP, which undoubtedly provides greater benefits than just a solo kill. Okay, let's see. Let's see how this pans out. I want to see if it was truly Or Prime or Mini Prime. Oh, no, it said Mini Prime, but it was Orb Prime. As you can see, they're all purple. Yeah, when they have Orb Prime, it might be game over. Orb Prime really is that strong. Basically, whenever an enemy team has Orb Prime, the only option your team has is to stick together until it's over. Stick together and defend. Try not to lose inhibs, try not to lose the game. From the time they have Orb Prime to the time that the buff wears off, you are on the back foot, and you just have to keep everything together as much as possible. Like, you could see the damage that they dish out. It's insane. A lot of damage. I mean, we're supports too, so it's a little squishy, but damn. Took a mine hit and it just ate up the shield. So they took middle inhib, which is big. It's arguably the inhib that you really want, but throughout that entire engagement, I don't know if you guys saw, we had a really nice push on the right wave, and it took out maybe 65% of their right inhib. And see, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Previously, I believe, I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, I'll have to rewatch, but when I pushed the wave out, like, wave management, you know, there's different things that you want to do in different situations. So how you manage the wave outside inhibitor is not how you're going to manage the wave outside your tier 2 or tier 1 tower. But the way that the wave unfolded, which I'm definitely going to take a look at after. It's just going to give me some information from when the game comes out. But yeah, they were doing the right thing and pushing and trying to capitalize on Orb Prime, but they almost ended up losing an inhib. So I think that they lost the Orb Prime buff at this point. I wouldn't consider us stabilized, but the game is certainly winnable. Sure, we will never see that middle inhib ever again, but that's okay. We still have a chance. The scoreboard is not yet on the screen. So as soon as Fangtooth is up, they go and secure it. And if they get it, I mean, it's scary. It is very scary. So they secure Fangtooth. We are in a really bad spot here. 3 Fangtooths. It's not what you want to see on the enemy team's scoreboard. And they are pushing their advantage. They are confident. They are in control. They want to push our right inhib. Seems like we got a good engagement on the Fangtooth there. Our inhib is under siege. Alright. We got their carry down. We got their Fang Mao down. I don't believe we lost anybody yet. We're about to lose our Fang Mao. But yep, our Fang Mao goes down. I couldn't afford to save him because I got to make sure the carry is in a good situation here. He's my priority.
Allied core under attack.
It wouldn't be worth saving the Fang Mao if the carry goes down as a result. So I just ensure he's back. Our inhib is under attack. Those super minions, you have to also manage them. And Orb Prime is in 20 seconds. This is probably going to decide the game here. The team basically has to set the mid wave as best as possible, and everyone has to rotate to Orb Prime, because if they get another Orb Prime, it's GG. There's like, we might not necessarily win if we get Orb Prime, but they will instantly win. Instantly. Their left inhib is down, getting huge damage right now, which is big, because if they went for Orb Prime, they might not be able to save it. And that could be our saving grace there. So, it looks like the enemy inhibitor goes down to nothing but minions, and they actually backed to try to protect it. And that was too late. And now we are all in position for Orb Prime, and they're no longer in position for Orb Prime. And I believe we're going for it. So far, so good. It's going to take them some time to traverse the map, and we might get it in time. Wow. Wow. A mismanaged wave leads to us securing Orb Prime, and now we're focusing on the right lane since it's already pushed and damaged. It doesn't get more ideal than this. With all of us having Orb Prime, the right minion wave is super powered, and it's a Kalari too, which it can escape. They're all frantically rotating now to defend right inhib. Since the tables have just turned that much, I see that an ally might be in trouble. We're trying to push both lanes simultaneously here. Since all 5 are in the right lane, we're split. Like, this is somewhat of a split push. And I'm just worried if anybody is in trouble, we will say, help. The carry is coming. Carry hits me, but a support and carry versus a carry, that is a mistake. Okay, we now here we have the thing now. I'm shielding. Ooh. I take quite a bit of damage, and I die. My ult there was an attempt to just kind of survive a little bit longer, maybe get a rotation of abilities off, but I couldn't, sadly. And we score the right inhib kill. A huge swing, huge swing. We complete our Leaf Song, which has 2 passives. I think we might, yeah, we just won. We killed the middle inhib. Huge swing. They were behind initially, and we ended up behind in the mid game. And all in all, we were able to just honestly get a little bit of luck on our side. Like, that was crazy. If the left inhib wasn't so pushed and so big, we would have just flat out died. And just to inform you guys what our last item was, Leaf Song. It has 2 passives. Healing or shielding an ally grants charges of penance equal to the value shielded. Stacks cap at 1,000. And the active is expend all stacks of penance to heal nearby allied heroes for 20% of penance. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. You could heal, like, as a Muriel, you get an item that can heal too. That is also buffed by your other item that lets you heal more. So, as you guys can see, lane management, I'm a particular fan of that in MOBAs, and I think that this game showcased it pretty well. I mean, the other team trying to take Orb Prime, they didn't realize how pushed their one lane was. They lose an inhibitor as a result, which they do not respawn in this game. You never want to lose an inhibitor. 2 of them back, 3 of them back off, and then we steal it, and then we steal the win. Honestly, we probably shouldn't have won that game. It was just one of those bizarre circumstances that, in how it unfolded, it just gave us an opportunity. And I'm not going to say it was skill-based. It was kind of lucky in that regard. A lot of things had to happen in that last sequence there. But yeah, all in all, one of my favorite games of the stress tests. And I hope you guys saw how cool some of the support items are, as well as some of the lane management and MOBA aspects here. So, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see any more predecessor content, feel free to subscribe if you'd be so inclined. I'm grateful for you checking it out. Have a great rest of your day. I'm JPie, and I'm out. Peace.